Hi, it's the Old Tech Guy, and this time I want to talk about USB. Chances are, if you're like me, you've looked down at your phone, you realized you needed to charge it, and you just looked for any old USB port you could find. Now, not everybody brings a power bank or a charger or whatever, but chances are you can find a cable, keep one in your pocket or in your car or whatever, and just find a USB port to plug it into. And literally, even though the saying any port in a storm is about 500 years old and USB ports are about 15 years old, it really does apply, because if you need to charge that phone, you'll take any USB port you can get. I'm talking about the ones on the back of satellite receivers, or the ones coming out of computers, or just some old charging brick, or the ones that are built into outlets. The truth, though, is that not all USB power is the same. The USB standard was created in the 1990s, and it's very easy to say we had no idea what we were talking about back then. The idea with USB was that it would just be one connector that would work with pretty much all the stuff you plugged in your computer. Your keyboard and your mouse and your printer, and stuff that you don't worry about today, like your fax machine and your modem and all that stuff. That's what USB was first designed to do, because before that, you had a different plug for every different kind of thing. Your keyboard was one plug, your mouse was one plug, your printer was one of three different plugs. What a mess. USB unified it all, and that's really cool. But it didn't really stop there. The original USB standard was designed to give power to really basic stuff, like the lights on a keyboard, for example, or a mouse. So the amount of power that would go through that USB standard was really pretty small. I'm talking about 1.25 watts. Is about enough for an old school nightlight, or a flashlight goes on your keychain. Not a whole lot. Can't power a computer with it, and barely have the ability to power a phone. You plug a phone into one of these ports that has only a 0.25 amps, 1.25 watts, it's going to charge super slow. Now, when smartphones came out in 07, 08, we didn't care how fast it charged. We were just amazed by what they did. But over time, we came to rely on them, and we just wanted them to charge faster. So we started seeing faster charging, where the USB 2.0 standard gave us half an amp of charging. In other words, 2.5 watts. That's twice as fast, but it's still pretty darn slow. But that wasn't enough for your bigger devices. You had something like an iPad, came out in 2010, and it needed more power than just what you could do with a plain old cube. It would take way too long to charge if you tried to do it, and it really wouldn't work right. So they came up with a new power adapter that put out 2.1 amps, which is 12 watts, because you multiply amps by volts, and we're always at 5 volts for USB, to get watts, and that was a lot. That was enough to power an iPad, and it was enough to power a larger phone, and that's, for the most part, where we are right now, unless you want to charge faster than that. Now, if you want to charge faster than that, you get two options. First of all, you can upgrade to USB Type-C. That's the round reversible plug that we're all learning to love so much, because it's not as hard to put into your phone as that micro USB that everybody hates. USB Type-C is a connector that's capable of carrying 100 watts, which is great. You could power most computers with that. Not that you necessarily would, but you could. Macintoshes do it all the time, power them over USB. So USB Type-C, that's one choice. The other choice is what's called USB PD. PD stands for power delivery, and it brings the same kind of power, but uses the USB Type-A connector, the regular old USB connector. And that's great, and I'd consider it kind of an intermediate move, because, I think everybody's going to USB Type-C, except, Apple's still on the Lightning connector for their phones, but that's something for another video. The point of this one is that not all charging experiences are the same. Take a look at the charging adapter and see what its maximum power output is. Don't be afraid to connect a super powerful adapter to your phone because it's only going to charge at the maximum speed that's safe for it to do it, and that's good. But do try to use chargers that aren't going to leave you waiting for your phone to charge for 3 or 4 hours before you get any meaningful level of charge. And of course, I hope that when you're looking for a charger, whether it's a simple one or a complex charging station, that you shop at solidsignal.com, the sponsor of this video, the people who pay my paycheck, and I hope you check out what they've got, the best selection of consumer electronics and everything to help you live your best digital life.